Good evening, and welcome to episode 2 of Bronco Talk. So here we go. Did a little thinking about this week and how the first episode went, and the problem with tonight is there's a game here in about 75 minutes. Thursday night football. This game was flexed. It was originally supposed to be a Sunday game, and now it's flexed to a Thursday night game tonight. So it's a little bit weird because we're going to talk about Broncos Colts from Sunday, and we're also going to talk about tonight's game. But let's get into it. Broncos defeated the Colts on Sunday. Let's create the banner for this today. 31-13. Very misleading scoreline. But with that being said, let's get into it and discuss this game. First and foremost, let's go. All right. So Broncos defeated the Indianapolis Colts 31-13 on Sunday. As you can see here, the game was very interesting. And to recap it more than anything else, the Broncos scored 5 turnovers to beat the Colts 31-13 in a game that was probably one of the biggest games since 2016 for the Denver Broncos. Nick Benito had the big interception that turned the game, but the game was a game that is very misleading on the scoreline, because when you see 31-13 alone, you think, well, it's a blowout. It was further from the case. The Broncos were down 13-7 at halftime. Anthony Richardson was kind of as advertised. He was good at first and then ended up being pretty poorly as the game stretched on. But the moment turned in the second half or the third quarter when Jonathan Taylor walks into the end zone but just drops the ball. He just drops it before he even crosses the plane. And it was a massive momentum screen, because at that point the Broncos would have gone down 19-7, and that would have potentially, the way that the game played out, would have hurt them and probably injured their chances of winning the game. Basically, first scoring possession for the Colts. Colts got the ball first. They went down the field, 10 plays, 70 yards, scored a touchdown. Anthony Richardson with a quarterback keeper, 233 yards into the end zone, 7-0 Colts. Broncos get the ball back, shorter drive. It ended in a Bo Nix interception where Humphrey, the linebacker for the Colts, was right underneath. And that really, it was intended for Little Jordan Humphrey. Franklin was the linebacker, intercepted it. So Broncos turned it over, first turnover of the day. Colts go on a long drive, 14 plays, 52 yards, and go up 10-0. So now you're sitting there as a Broncos fan. Okay. Anthony Richardson is orchestrated a 10-play, 70-yard drive, and now has orchestrated a 14-play, 52-yard drive. With, in each of those drives, the Indianapolis Colts picked up a massive third down and 10. So you get third down and 10 there from the 38 on the first drive. Jonathan Taylor picked up 15 yards. In the second drive, I believe it was a third and, I want to say 9. Yep, third and 9. Jonathan Taylor for another 10 yards. So the Broncos are down, and then second possession, 5 plays, 5 yards, and a punt. There you go. And then the Broncos finally forced a 3-and-out. Of course, the Broncos' first touchdown drive, that ended up in a pass completed to, I believe, Trotman for 13 yards. So the Broncos are down 10-7. So the Colts obviously get the ball back, and this is where the first turnover for Indianapolis occurs. Brandon Jones, safety for the Broncos, intercepts it. In fact, let me do this real quick. Let's present this real quick. Entire window. Let's do this. Let's do this over here. I could show the play later. Not a big deal. Yep. So anyway, we'll look at it later. Let's see. Broncos get the ball, 3 plays, 5 yards. Couldn't do anything with it. And then back and forth, Colts, Broncos, kind of really can't do anything with it. Broncos get the ball back on their own 30, and then have basically a penalty kind of killed that drive, went from a 3rd and 2 to a 3rd and 7. And then the Broncos had to punt the ball. Colts get it with 1:32 left and drive down the field and get a field goal. 13-7 at half. The vibes are not feeling really good at this point. Denver struggled to run the ball in the first half. Bo Nix was the leading rusher at halftime. The running backs were, I think, at 7 for 13 yards. It was not very good at all. Second half comes out. Broncos get the ball, so you're thinking, okay, establish something. It turns into a 3rd and 1, and he basically overthrows Sutton. It looks as if Sutton had maybe ran the route too short, but Bo Nix airmails the ball over his head. Ball's intercepted, and the Indianapolis Colts take over. So now the Colts get the ball back, and this is the play. This is the Jonathan, and look how crazy this is. The Broncos get the ball to start the second half, end up 3-4 plays, throw an interception, second interception of the game by Bo Nix. Then Jonathan Taylor, excuse me, got a little crumb I'm dealing with. First play from the Indy 38. There's a necessary roughness play by Brandon Jones, pushes the ball to the 41-yard line, and then you see Jonathan Taylor with the infamous fumbling the ball out of the end zone. Come back from timeout, and you can see it. We're watching it at home, and you can see that doesn't look like they're lining up for an extra point. It looks like the Broncos have the ball. Broncos can't turn anything into that drive. Colts do a punt on their next drive, and this, I believe, is the Mims did a 27-yard return on this one. Mims was huge in this game. It had a massive 61-yard return, which we'll show later here in a little bit. But then the Broncos, another interception. This is the one where the safety jumped the route. You can see like Bo Nix kind of looked in on the court of the sudden, and boom, intercepted. And then, of course, after the interception, this turns into a fumble that was forced by DJ Jones. And the Broncos take the ball back over. The Broncos now get a field goal. And this is the running theme of this game. And where I'm going to be slightly critical of Denver is they couldn't capitalize on the turnovers as quickly as they should have. Now, granted, the final score worked out and everything, but turnovers are a premium in the NFL. And if you can get the ball turned over and get the ball back, then you're able to capitalize. You have to capitalize on these things. But anyway, this DJ Jones drive turns into a field goal for the Denver Broncos to go to 13-10. Broncos forced a four-play drive, and I believe this is another a 9-yard return by Mims that turned into an unnecessary roughness. And then we'll go to 2 drives later. This is in the 10 seconds left in the third quarter. This is after a Mims massive return. So the punt with 2 minutes left, 40 seconds left. Marvin Mims, 61-yard punt return. Broncos get the ball at the Indy 15. 2 plays later, it results in a Broncos touchdown and Nate Atkins. Broncos are now up 17-13. All right, a little breathing room right there. And then this is where it gets even crazier. The Broncos ended up kicking the ball to Indy. Obviously, Indy moves to play a couple plays. They do this trick play where basically Richardson gets the ball and he throws it back to his wide receiver as a back lateral pass. So his wide receiver fumbles at his hand a little bit, and then he throws it back to Richardson. Well, Nick Bonito, the linebacker, reads it to a T. And what made that play work was the flipping of the ball in his hand. And then Nick Bonito takes it to the house. And then that blows the game completely wide open. Now it is 24-10. So 2 touchdowns in a matter of roughly 2 minutes for the Broncos to go from a 13-10 deficit to a 24-13 lead. There you go. That's how quickly it goes. So we'll go back to the end here. There's an interception. This is by, I believe, Pat Surtain. This is the injury that's potentially of concern tonight. He did practice in this week, so he potentially will play tonight. I haven't checked Twitter, so forgive me that I don't have the information in front of me, but we move on. And after the interception, this is the wide open pass to Cortland Sutton in the end zone. Broncos go up 31-13. Colts kind of put a drive together at the end, and that really was kind of all she wrote. So the Denver Broncos defeat the Indianapolis Colts 31-13. And let's go back up here. And this is the crazy thing about this game. The Denver Broncos only had about 193 total yards of offense. 3.2 yards per play, 20 of 33, 3.6 yards per pass, 1 sack in the game that was given up by the Broncos, 72 yards rushing to 149 for the Colts. 2.7 yards an attempt for the Broncos in this game, which is abysmal. The Colts were at 4.7. So the Broncos really got bailed out in this game. And it's really their defense that bailed them out more than anything else. And it's just really kind of a testament of what I think good teams are. Good teams find a way to win games when they shouldn't. And the Denver Broncos did that on Sunday. Are there going to be issues if they can't run the ball going further down if they make this playoff run? Yeah, of course they're going to be. But the reality of the situation is that they found a way to win on Sunday. And that was really what the goal was. No one got really massively hurt, and you were able to punch another ticket closer to the playoffs, which tonight, the Chargers, huge game. God knows what's going to happen. But let's take a look here at the stats. Anthony Richardson, 17 of 38, 2 interceptions, gave up 2 sacks. Bo Nix, an average night, probably what I would say is close to his worst night as a pro. 20 of 33 for 121, 3 touchdowns, 3 picks. And this is where it really gets embarrassing for the Denver Broncos, in my opinion. Bo Nix was their leading rusher, 8 for 23. Jaleel McLaughlin, who won't be able to go tonight, apparently he's injured. And then Javonte Williams. And we'll look at the snap percentages in this game and who played what snaps and everything. But it was kind of not a very good day at the office for the Broncos. Not a very good day at the office for the Broncos offense. And this is something that I don't know if this team wins this game last year. I don't know. But again, the whole Anthony Richardson, he's limited. Okay, I agree with you, but at the same time, not only that, at the same time, you have to play what's on your schedule. And look, it's going to be, shall we say, a rather tough stretch down the stretch, because the Broncos have the remaining 3 games, and we'll take a look here. Broncos' next 3 games include a trip to Los Angeles tonight, the Chargers, and they're playing the Cincinnati Bengals probably on Saturday, or it looks like it's been announced as the 4:30 kick on Saturday, 12:28. And then they play the Chiefs at home. This is going to be massive for them. They have to win. So here we go. We got some inactives from Jeff Legwold of ESPN. Lavelle Bailey's out. No Frank Crum. No Matt Henningsen. Jaleel is out. Riley Moss is out. Levi Wallace, and, of course, quarterback Zach Wilson, who will be the emergency quarterback, is considered inactive tonight. So that means Patrick Surtain will go. That means we'll have probably Chris Abrams-Drain on the other side. So we'll see what that means for the Broncos going forward tonight. And I don't know if I see any inactives for the Chargers. We'll come back to that in a second. But needless to say, big win for the Broncos. Biggest win that I think this team has had since the 2016 Super Bowl run, But let's pivot here. So let's present here. All right. Look at some next gen stats from Sunday's game. real quickly, let's go look here at some highlights actually from Sunday's game. This is the touchdown pass to Bo Nix. All right, here we go. You can see Javonte lined up next to him. Sutton's right here is going to get the ball for the touchdown. You got Jordan Humphrey, Devon Vele, 5-man protection. Looks like 4-man front for the Indianapolis Colts. And here's the play as it unrolls. Play back, and he bites, and then boom. And then there's a touchdown. All she wrote. Here's the Pat Surtain interception in the third quarter. Excuse me. Colts with 4 wide receivers, 10 personnel. Here you go. Boom. And Pat Surtain jumps it. Boom. Underthrown. It was a bad throw by Richardson. And how Pat Surtain got hurt on this play is he actually got back up and decided to run with it, and he got hit low on the knee. Let's see here. Let's do another one. This is the touchdown pass to Nate Adkins in the second one that put the Broncos up. As you can see, it was 13:58 left in the fourth quarter, 13-10, second and 10, ball in the Indy 15. There's Nate Adkins right here. You got little Jordan Humphrey, Cortland Sutton right here. Troy Franklin's, I think, is going to go in motion here. Let's watch this play unfold. It comes in motion, ball snapped, looks over to Franklin, and then boom, Atkins right there. And Atkins, poor tackling, and scores a touchdown. Very good from him. And here's the Marvin Mims pump return. This is the one I really want to show you. This is the 61-part return in the fourth quarter, 61-yard return. Let's watch this beauty unfold. All right, punts it back. Ball's up in the air. It's caught by Mims, and then Mims just gone. Good blocking picked up by Kroll. You can see right here, another big block picked up. Mims keeps running, runs out of gas. But that set up that Atkins touchdown. Let's see if there's another one. There's Brandon Jones' interception. And here's the first touchdown pass to Trotman. You can see Javonte sitting here at running back. You got 2 tight ends here with Trotman, so it looks like a little God. I get the numbers mixed up, but anyway, 2 tight ends, 1 running back. So 12 personnel. You have the two wideouts. Mims goes out this way. Sutton sits up here, and then Trotman. And watch 20. Watch him. Bites. Slow move, and then wide open. Missed him right through. So there you go. That's a quick recap of the Broncos game from. We're gonna look at some of the passing charts here. I want to go over some of the pass charts from the Bo Nix from Week 15. Wasn't the greatest game from him. We talked about this earlier. His footwork was a little bit off. There's another chart I want to look at that's a little better than this. Let's go to highlights, stats, game center, Week 16. Week 15 is where we're headed. Broncos, Colts. And as you can see here, longest completed pass from Bo Nix was 39 yards on Sunday. Anthony Richardson, 29.6. And look at, there you go, Nick Bonito, 20 miles an hour. But anyway, here's the passing charts. Bo Nix, middle of the field, 4 for 5. Throws of 20. He was 1 of 3 with 1 touchdown, and that was to Cortland Sutton. He completed 1 ball of 20 yards or more, and then 1 ball of 10 yards or more. So, yeah, there you go. Wasn't a good day at the office, and you know, go look at Jalil's running here today too. Most of his, you can see where they struggled running the ball. The Broncos did. 1 attempt for 6 yards here, Jalil, and here's Javonte. Javonte was looking at it. Javonte hasn't been working for Javonte, but Javonte's using passing down, so that's why he plays a lot of the games he does. Let's see if there's anything else that's pertinent for this today. I don't think so. We're going to look at one more thing regarding, let's see here, the Broncos-Colts game. And actually, let's pivot back. We're going to pivot back. So we're going to come back and discuss a quick recap of last week's games. Let's do this real quick. All right, so let's present share screen and boom, here we go. Week 15. Week 15. Thursday night game, Rams and the 49ers. Rams and the 49ers. It's a very sloppy game. I don't think I'm assuming you probably didn't watch a lot of that game unless you were a Rams or 49ers fan. It teamed up like it was going to be a good game, and of course it eliminates the Rams, the 49ers from the playoff contention, in my opinion. Mathematically, it's going to take a lot for them to get back in it. And they also had an interesting moment where Devondre Campbell, the player for the 49ers, decided to quit playing during the middle of the game. I think they have cut him since then, but yeah, not a very good look. So we got the Chiefs defeated the Browns on Sunday, 21-7. Patrick Mahomes left with an ankle injury. We'll see if he's a go this weekend. But the first results say X-rays are good. Bengals and the Titans was a shootout there. Bengals win 37-27. Big interesting note, the fact of this game, Mason Rudolph has been benched. Not Mason Rudolph, excuse me. Will Levis has been benched by the Titans, which are replaced, I believe, by Mason Rudolph this week. Commanders and Saints. This was a really good, interesting game. The Saints started, I think, a third-string quarterback that ended up having to bench him halfway through for Spencer Rattler. The Commanders, it came down to a 2-point conversion to end the game, and the Saints came up short. Commanders win 2019, increased to 9-5, and the Saints fall to 5-9 on the year. Ravens destroyed the Giants as I expected. Lamar Jackson 5 touchdown passes. Not much to say there. The Giants are probably easily the worst team in football, and in fact, they're 0-8 at home. Cowboys defeat the Panthers. 30-14. Not much to say about that game. The Cowboys are 6-8 on the year. The Panthers fall to 3-11. Jaguars and Jets actually probably was probably the most entertaining game second half wise for the witching hour for the for NFL on Sunday. Jets find a way to win after losing an overtime game last week to the Miami Dolphins. Jets are now 4-10, 32-25. And there you go. The Jags fall to 3-11. We got a final also here. The Texans defeated the Colts. The Texans defeated the Miami Dolphins 20-12. Texans are 9-5, won the AFC South, as we'll go through the playoff picture here in a second. Of course, we discussed the Colts and the Broncos game. Bills beat the Lions in a shootout, 48-42. Josh Allen is making a pretty impressive argument for being the NFL MVP this year. Eagles and the Steelers, that was the other 425 game. Eagles defeat the Steelers 27-13. Eagles still have not clinched the NFC East, from my understanding, so that potentially might get done this weekend. Cardinals defeat the Patriots. Bucks blew out the Chargers 40-17, and they reestablished first place dominance in the NFC South. Sunday night game, Packers defeat the Seahawks, and Geno Smith got injured. So we'll see whether Geno Smith is a go this weekend for the Seattle Seahawks. 2 Monday night games, because I don't know why, but they decided they wanted to give you 2 Monday night games. Vikings defeat the Bears, no shock there. Sam Darnold still doing his thing. And in fact, in this game, 24-40, 231, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Last week he had the 5 touchdown passes. Been playing pretty well, all things considered, where Sam Darnold was in 2018 and beyond with the Jets. Falcons defeat the Raiders 15-9 in a game I don't think anybody watched. I know I did not watch it. But the Atlanta Falcons have announced that they're starting Michael Penix this week. So the rookie is getting the nod, and Kirk Cousins is good morning, Sir Tom. And Kirk Cousins is now on the bench. So all right, so let's break down this. All right, so we're going to pivot. We're going to pivot over to the NFL playoff picture. And let's do this real quick. So, all right, so we're going to go playoff picture. Here we go. We're 3 weeks left in the NFL season. In the AFC, the Kansas City Chiefs has the number 1 seed right now. They've won the AFC West. Buffalo Bills, second seed, number 1 overall in the AFC East. And, of course, the Steelers are first in the AFC North. And then the Texans have won the South. In the hunt, and of course, the big game this weekend on Saturday, Ravens and Steelers. I believe that is the 4:15 game. Ravens are pretty much in the playoffs at 9-5. They would need a colossal collapse. Broncos sitting here at beneficiary of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beating the Chargers last week. So that's why this game tonight is massive. Every game this time of year for the NFL is massive, especially if you're in a playoff hunt. But the Broncos are sitting here at the 6th seed of the NFL right now, would do a matchup against the Steelers, against the Russell Wilson Steelers. Most people would like that. The Chargers are sitting there in 7th, and here's on the bubble. The Colts are 6-8, and the Dolphins are 6-8, and of course the Bengals are sitting there at 6-8. And their percentages of making the playoffs are very low, even if they win this weekend. We're looking at 16% for the Colts, 11% for the Dolphins, and 7% for the Bengals. And even for the Broncos, regardless, if they lose out and the Dolphins lose and the Bengals lose one and the Colts win out, the Broncos would have the tiebreaker over the Colts based on the head-to-head win. That's why Sunday's game was massive. All right. So here you go. Lions. They clinched up the first seed for the most part. The Lions and Eagles sitting there 12-2. 4 available playoff spots in the NFC. Vikings sitting there at number 5 right now. That leaves the NFC South with the Bucs, first place right now, and the Rams sitting there in 4th at first place in the NFC West. With that being said, Packers are probably going to be in as the 6th seed, and then the Commanders sitting at the 7th seed. But as far as the divisions go, the Bucs have a game advantage over the Falcons at 7-7 versus 8-6, and then the NFC West is the other division where Rams are 8-6, Seahawks sitting there at 8-6, and the Cardinals sitting at 7-7. So really, 49ers are pretty much done. I would say the Cardinals are probably going to be pretty much close to done here soon. Seattle's the one that you got to look out for. They have a big game against Minnesota this weekend. And then, of course, the Rams take on the Jets. So you have to like the Rams' chances against Jets. I picked the Jets to win this weekend because the Rams are going cross country, but this is the NFL. Any given Sunday is a possibility here. All right, so we've done that. So let's go ahead and preview the Broncos-Chargers game. And let's see here. All right, let's go look here. All right. So let's see. So we've got Los Angeles Chargers. All right. Justin Herbert on the year, 16 touchdowns, 2 picks, completing about 63% of his passes. J.K. Dobbins, good running back. And then, of course, Gus Edwards sitting here. Those their top 2 backs. Receiving-wise, Ladd McConkey and Joshua Palmer. Injuries-wise, let's see for tonight. Tonight they are inactives are going to be Cam Hart, Elijah Molden, Will Dissly, the tight end, Shaquille Quarterman, Brendan James, and Jordan McFadden. And, of course, Easton Stick will be the emergency third quarterback. So here we go. This is a massive game tonight. Broncos travel well, so it'll feel kind of like a Broncos home game, if I'm honest. So, yeah, let me look something up because we're going to do a little bit of team rankings here. I want to do a little look-see on the San Diego Chargers. Just kidding. The Los Angeles Chargers, showing my age when I say San Diego. But, yeah, so the big thing I want to look at with the Chargers, where they're at offensively. for this team. Scoring offense, points per game. The Chargers are sitting there 20th at 21 points per game. And the Broncos are sitting there at 24 points per game. But where it gets a little interesting is on the defensive side. Scoring defense, Chargers are 17.6, and the Broncos are 17.6. The top two scoring defenses are going against each other tonight. I want to look also here at third down conversions. Let's go. Let me share this so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Let's go here. See, Chargers. Yep, there you go. All right. So third down offense. Sorry, excuse me. Third down conversions per game. Chargers are sitting here at well, let's see. They're sitting here at 4.7, 19th. The Broncos are sitting at 5.1. But if we go look at third downs per game, you'll find out that the Broncos are more third downs per game than they are. Chargers sitting here at 12.7, and Denver sitting there at about 13.6. Not a massive delta there. Let's see here. This is even better. Let's go into a quick overview. Let's see here. General info overview. All right. So right now, the Broncos, if you look at this right here, this is a really good stat line. Broncos run 43% of the time. Chargers are about a 44% running team. You can see completions on passes pretty close. These teams are very similar. I think the thing that makes this one difficult is the fact that most people, there's a lot of Jim Harbaugh. And the first time these two teams played, it was a 23-16 defeat of the Denver Broncos. But of course, with that game, the Denver Broncos ended up losing Pat Surtain. It was 23-16. Pat Surtain left with a concussion, and the Broncos came back pretty much back from a 23 to they were down. They had two-point conversions. It was a very misleading storyline because the Chargers just killed them on third down that whole game. That being said, this is going to be a very, very difficult game tonight. But I have a feeling that the Broncos are going to find a way to do it. Bo Nix is going to have to have his feet set. He's going to have to play with a lot of poise. The Broncos' running game has to be better. It just has to be. And the thing that I think is going to be telling is the turnovers in this game. You're not going to get 5 turnovers from the Chargers. Now, we can hope that, but at the same time, it's probably not going to be a reality. But yeah, let's see here. But yeah, that's yeah. So, and here you go. Let's look at this right here. This is a better lineup. A better breakdown here. You've got Denver versus the Chargers. Points per game. Broncos are averaging 24 points per game. That's 10th in the NFL. About 311 yards per game against the number one scoring defense. 15th overall based on yardage. They allow about 36% third down conversions. And they only allow usually 2 touchdowns a game, while the Broncos are scoring close to 3. The Chargers have the 20th ranked offense on scoring, 26th on yards per game. Offensively, and the Broncos number one in scoring defense, 8th in yards, 11th in third downs, 15th in fourth downs, number one allowing touchdowns per game. It's literally, you look rush play percentage. Both teams like to pass the ball more than they do run the ball. The statistics show it this year. Broncos are averaging 4.1 yards a rush, but don't really have a leading rusher outside of running back by committee, while the Chargers are sitting there at 4.7 yards a rush, and they're both in the bottom 10 of the NFL. But at least you can look at J.K. Dobbins as is better than what I think the Broncos have on their current roster. Both teams try to run the ball. Like 26 rushes per game, they still try to run it. The percentages of plays don't show it, but they still try to run it. 26 rushes. The problem here is Denver has a rookie quarterback, and those numbers should be probably 10 points more. But yeah, this will be the 30th game, the 31st attempt for the Broncos to get a 100-yard rusher. It's probably not going to happen. I just don't see it happening. But we can hope that someone, because we know Jalil's not going to be able to go tonight. Javonte is going to be playing. But, yeah, let's see what happens. This game is going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it tonight. Again, I don't like Thursday night games. I don't like Monday night games. I like a good Sunday afternoon, 4:25. Starting the day, ending the evening type game. And this is going to be interesting. But let's pivot. So we've discussed last week's Broncos Colts game. We discussed the week's 15 games. I did the passing charts. We showed a little bit of the run stuff, some basic play percentages based on what we think is going to happen. The Vegas has the Chargers at a 2.5-point favorite with the over/under being 41.5. I think the Broncos are going to win this. I'm not picking them to win next week against the Bengals, but I think they're potentially going to. There's something in this game tonight, and I'm probably the lone Bronco fan saying this tonight. I think the Broncos win in a close game. I'm thinking 20-17, a field goal to end it. That's my gut. We'll see. All right, so let's pivot. I have my picks for the week. I actually did these. And I was going to put it in the community tab, but for some reason it didn't. It said it was too big of a file. So we'll go ahead and show it. I was worried about time tonight with the kick game kicking off at 8:15, whether we were going to have enough time, but we pivoted, and we pivoted hard on this one. All right, so adding to the stage, you can see my Week 16 picks. I got the Denver Broncos winning tonight. Houston Texans are going to beat the Chiefs on Sunday. I don't know what's going on with Patrick Mahomes' ankle. They said the X-rays were negative, but ankle injuries for quarterbacks and even guys that run, it's going to be difficult. So I think Houston finds a way to get them. It's a Saturday 1:00 game. We shall see. Pittsburgh at Baltimore, another massive Saturday. Here's the good thing about this weekend. I do want to do a slight pivot on this as well. The college football is doing their playoff games this weekend. You got a Friday night game and then 3 on Saturday. The NFL is going up against first-round college football playoff games. I'm wondering what the ratings are going to be like. But that's another point. Giants losing to the Falcons. Penix wins his first start. Buffalo will destroy New England. Detroit's going to beat Chicago pretty handsomely. The NFL is on Netflix for Christmas night. Yep. We've got Tennessee. I've got Tennessee beating Indy. I think Indy's going to fall apart this week just based on how that game went down. Jonathan Taylor's fumble. It doesn't mean that Tennessee is going to quit on Shane Steichen. I don't believe that at all. I just think that there's going to be this weird after effect in Tennessee, the new quarterback. We'll see. I got the Jets defeating the Rams. And again, I still think the Rams are going to win that division, but those West Coast teams going to play East Coast games usually don't go very well. Philly's going to defeat Washington. Arizona, I have them beating Carolina. Cincinnati's going to defeat Cleveland and go to 7-8. I have Minnesota beating Seattle. I've got Vegas winning a game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's the one right there that potentially will implicate the NFL draft, mock drafts, or whatever. We'll get into mock drafts on this channel. I'm a big fan of NFL drafts, so we will do that stuff. San Francisco, I got beating Miami this weekend. It puts Miami out of the playoffs. Again, that's one I really didn't like picking San Francisco because I do wonder what the after effects were. Because the player that quit on the team's response was not like, oh, yeah, we saw. No, they were not happy about that. and made sure they were voiced that that guy was not happy that they were not happy the fact that he just kind of said, hey, I'm whatever. You got Tampa Bay playing Dallas, the Sunday night game. I've got the Bucs winning that. And then Green Bay and Dallas, Green Bay and New Orleans on the Monday night, the 23rd. This next week's a little bit odd because there are NFL games on Christmas Day. So I don't, I normally do a Thursday, but we may pivot and do something extra just based on the fact of the weird schedule and the Broncos playing on Thursday. I may do a reaction to the Broncos game Saturday or one of these days just because it's on Thursday and I like to be able to react to the games live. Vice a couple days, you're 4 or 5 days after, you kind of forget some what happened. But anyway, that's the Sunday's game. Let's go look at the comic section. Mr. Tom's joining us. The NFL does have Netflix on Christmas. And do I think the NFC North will have 3 playoff teams? I do. Because if you look at the standings, Green Bay's at 10-4. Well, let's bring it up. So nothing better than a visual aid. But we're going to pivot back because I want to discuss some snap percentages here real quick for the Broncos. But let's find the actual NFL standings real quick. We'll do no. All right, let's do this one. All right, this page right here, I can go to the stats, the schedule. Let's see. And where are you at? Standings. Oh, man. All right, here we go. Full standings. All right, so in the NFC, basically, if you are in the AFC South and the NFC West, like the Packers are sitting there at 10. Basically, what I'm saying is you're going to have to win your division. If you're the Falcons looking in at 8-7-7, or you're the Seahawks sitting at 8-6, tied with the Rams, or even the Arizona Cardinals sitting at 7-7, you're going to have to win your division to get into the playoffs. The Packers are 10-4 in their last 3 games. Saints on Monday night, at Minnesota, and then versus Chicago. The Packers probably take 2 out of 3 there. I know the Minnesota game is interesting. I still think they'll probably beat Chicago last game of the season. Like I said, I pick them to win on Monday night. But it's going to – and that's the thing. So with the way the playoff structure works, the top 4 seeds are going to be the division winners. And as of right now in the NFC, you'd be looking at Eagles, Lions, Bucks, and Rams as we sit right now. So that would give you the 5th seed would become the Green Bay Packers. So the Green Bay Packers would go have a playoff game at either Tampa or the Rams, which if you're Green Bay and you play in the cold, okay, I get to play a game. And if I play in the Rams stadium, that's now a climate controlled area. So that's cool. That equals things out. And then, even though they probably prefer the cold, it's still easy. It's like playing that game against Dallas last year in the playoffs. Okay, I'll take climate control. Okay. So, yeah, I think 3 teams from the NFC make it. My gut feeling is, again, I think the Broncos win tonight. I'm kind of a homer, but that's, looking at the AFC, I think the AFC picture's pretty set. It's just who's going to finish where in those top 7. So I recall Chicago rested their players in Game 17 against the Packers, lost, and then lost in the NFC Championship game the year the Packers won the Super Bowl. So that was 16 games. I know which one you're talking about, and I believe that was the game where Jay Cutler had his tore his ACL and he couldn't go, and he made a big deal about it, and he didn't play. Or he had an MCL injury or something that happened on one of the plays, and the Bears fans just never forgave him for it. Let's do one more nerdy thing. NFL and nerd doesn't sound right, but so yeah, we're gonna present this. I want to present the snap percentage from Sunday. So I'm talking about Javonte Williams and the running game, the Broncos, and the issues they've had there. On Sunday, 45%, 30 snaps, 30 total plays. Javonte was out there. You had Jaleel out there for 24, which that's skewed because he got hurt later in the game and ended up sitting out the rest of the game. Let's see here. So Bo Nix. I don't have. Oh, here we go. Week 15. We're gonna go look at the running backs. I need to go look at that. Just had a reminder. I did not see. I don't know if Blake Watson's available for this game. I did not see where the Broncos are bringing in another running back because Jaleel's out for tonight. Blake Watson. They promote him. So Blake Watson is going to be on the sideline for the Broncos. He's we'll pivot to Blake in a second. Practice squad player, undrafted free agent, if I'm not mistaken, out of, I believe, God, I can't remember what college he went to. Memphis. There you go. Anyway, so that's exciting. We'll get to see him. That's another back. Smaller size back. As far as height and weight, not a massive guy, but yeah, he did get some preseason snaps against the Colts. So yeah, let's see. They've elevated two practice day squad players. We'll come back to this in a second. Anyways, let's go back. Let's bring the ADD back. Bring me back. So anyway, on Sunday, we saw that Javonte played 45% of snaps. He had 4 rushing attempts for 1 yard. Wrong. I'm looking at the previous week. 6 rushing attempts for 15 yards, 2 receptions for 8. That's six in that's 2 points something. That's not good enough. Jaleel was 7 to 21. That's 3 yards a carry. Not good enough. Audric Estime had 1 good rush. I think it was 1 rush for 6 yards, and then it just kind of fell off. I went back and watched some of the all 22, and some of it to me is on the is on the running backs, but also kind of on who picks up what block. And it's good to see tonight, if we even see Blake Watson really play, you get a heavy dose of Estime and Javonte out there. Is this a game where Estime says, hey, this is my game. I'm going to take this over. Because I don't know if the Broncos running back for the future is on this team. I know I said that last week, and I think I even doubled down on it. And that was the big thing I said in last week's preview, is that I was very concerned about the Broncos' ability to run the ball. And when you have the 31st ranked defense against the run, and you only average 72 yards, and that's 26 attempts, and it's 0.7 per attempt, and your quarterback is your leading running back, that's not a good day at the office. But I digress on that. Let's see what happens tonight. Okay, so let's go look at the practice squad and see who's been activated real quick. Let's see here. And it is 2 players elevated. You've got Blake Watson has been elevated, and Matt Henningsen, defensive lineman from the practice squad. So, let's see what else is going on here. I'm currently on Broncos Wire today. Pretty good site for Broncos news. We're going with the alternate uniform combo tonight. We've got white tops and navy blue bottoms. Okay, not horrific. Let's see. All right. Any other news and notes of worthy? Raleigh Moss is inactive. 7 players not playing tonight. We discussed that earlier. So just to rehash that, Zach Wilson is the injury quarterback. No Riley Moss tonight. No Jaleel McLaughlin. No Levi Wallace. No Lavelle Bell. Frank Crum. And they elevated him, but he's not active, like Matt Henningsen. So, but anyway, so that's pretty much about it for this week. It's a little bit shorter of a show, I think, than last week's. A little bit better flow to it. And like I said, with tonight's game, I'll answer that question in 1 second, Tom. With tonight's game, we're looking at probably a quicker or a sooner review. We'll see what happens if I get a chance to watch the all 22. Do have some busy stuff going on, but I want to answer this one quick question. It says, in American sports, do teams tend to have to win a championship for a jersey to become iconic? No. So here's the beautiful thing about the NFL, and I know English football doesn't follow this at all because there's money to be made releasing 3 different jerseys every year. But the Broncos had the same jerseys from about 1997 all the way to about this year. So I will say this much: as far as the Broncos go, they've won a Super Bowl in white twice, the Super Bowl 50 and a Super Bowl there's another word, Super Bowl 33 they won in white, but in Super Bowl 32 they won it in blue. That was the first year they switched over from the orange and blues, which is the one they were now. So no, there is considered unlucky colors. Like the Broncos have never won a Super Bowl in orange. It doesn't mean that they're going to get rid of orange, but they've gotten their butt beat in orange before. But yeah, so about 20 minutes to kick off. Like I said, I appreciate everybody that came by tonight. I was feeling under the weather. This afternoon, I was able to hop on with Sam and Tom and discuss top 5 favorite Christmas movies. That was always a good time. I appreciate it. This has been fun. But we will see what happens. Go Broncos tonight. This is definitely going to be a tough game. All these games this time of year, but at the end of the day, the Denver Broncos have found their quarterback in Bo Nix. The Broncos have won 9 games, and that's really it. But thank everybody that came by, and go Broncos.